All right, guys. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and give everybody a couple minutes. Now, I have been extremely busy setting up this studio. Even as of the day, I've installed new microphones just today, and I've got cameras that I'm still installing, so I'll have like 3 or 4 cameras up here. And it all completely matters because when you're tearing stuff open, like I'm gonna be doing in just a minute, having the ability to switch between cameras instantly is a game changer. Absolute game changer. I love it. Okay, guys. Well, I hope my audio is coming in nice and clear. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just do this, all right? So today's project is I have a series of Connex 6000 monitors, and they gave me basically several of them, and they want one good one in the end. What does that mean? Hard to say. So I have not powered any of these devices on. I have no clue what's really going on. I think one of them's got a bad display. One of them has, I don't know, maybe, well, it's a cracked handle. And I've got a third one over here. They all have the same options. No printer, so I'm not really worried about that. Although this one over here has got better plastics. It says it has better plastics. I think that might be the one that I'm gonna finally end up with. So let's go ahead and let's figure out what's going on with these guys, all right? Let's start right square one. So the Connex 6000, made by Welch, Allyn. There's a variety of different license options you can have for them. You can have a printer, and you can have various other SPO2 types and whatnot. But these guys, they've been around for a minute, and I have probably 100 or so of these exact same ones. I've got like 100 of them that I've obtained, and I'm going to be, you know, selling off whenever I can. So if you guys are looking for a Connex 6000, I got beautiful ones, and they're all set in a climate-controlled environment, and they're stored there, and they're waiting for a new home. But guys, meanwhile, I've never opened up one of these. So since I've never opened up one, anything could happen, right? I could rip cables, I could break things, who knows? I'm gonna go ahead and set this guy over here on the side. This guy here seems to have had the roughest life, I guess. So this is gonna be my first victim. We're gonna go ahead and tear this guy, and help me out with this. I have overhead cameras. Let's do it. Aha, pretty cool, huh? That's one of the advantages of having like all this audio hardware gear, is I can switch between cameras, and man, it's so much nicer when I can do that. So my third camera is coming in, and when that one comes in, I'll be able to do even more. So let's see. Yep, here's my So I'm thinking I need to reverse these 2 windows right here. When my next camera comes in, I'll do that. But all right, so here's the Connex 6000 series. First, I guess let's figure out if it comes up, right? Let's do that. So I have a nice short little power cord here. Plug this dude in. Let's see what it even does. Maybe it doesn't even power up. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Display looks nice and bright. These Connex do have beautiful displays. Look at that. It says audio alarms are off. Okay. Battery is absent or faulty. Okay. Well, that's usually an easy error to fix. Okay. This guy is definitely dirty. He's definitely had a kind of a rougher life. So in order to get the battery out of these guys, I have a miniature screwdriver right here, and you just pop it in here, you open the cover. It's empty. So, of course, it would give you that error code because it's empty. And it's also saying it's missing a probe well, which they're removable. You know, I can pop it in, make sure the error code goes away. Which is still upset about the battery. This guy has a cracked handle, not my prime candidate to survive this mess, all right? So this one here, it powers up. It looks like everything's kind of fine. All the parameters kind of look like they're there. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this one to be broke because it looks like it's been dropped. So let's go ahead and power this doodad down. Power off. There we go. I guess it wanted me to clear the error code. All right. So this guy here, technically it works. Kind of. This guy here, oh, you can tell, this one has been dragged along the ground. It looks like it's had kind of a rough life, doesn't it? No battery, so what are the odds I'm gonna also have that battery error on this guy? Pretty darn good. So this guy here, it's got some shmoo on the screen. Love it. I don't know. What do you think? Think it's gonna boot up? I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and boot it. It's got a nice bright screen. By the way, the touch screen on that guy worked just fine. Wasn't expecting that either. Oh, what is this? Said unexpected restart occurred. Okay. Set date and time. Okay, so this guy here, this is gonna be definitely my guinea pig to tear open. 100%. So it's saying that it had an unexpected restart, which could be that somebody just disconnected the power. There's no battery inside it, right? So that could be all that is. But then it says, what's the other error code? It says set date and time. Well, that makes me think that the control board, the CPU board, normally there is a coin cell battery or something like that that's on the board. I've never opened up one of these ever before. So I think I'm going to go ahead and open this guy. Let's take a look. I mean, it clearly already has something going on with its CPU board. See, that right there is what gives you the error. And it's not that good of a condition anyway. I don't feel bad if it's broke. Let's go ahead and put it off to the side. So these guys, let's see, I've never opened up one of them before, but I can tell you right off the bat that there's a series of Phillips screws all around this case. Looks like the front panel dissects with a couple screws down here and probably 2 screws up here in the handle. All right, so let's go ahead and try and pull those bottom fasteners first. So yeah, this is why we have this guy. All right, so my 2 fasteners down below. Got it. Kind of an awkward angle, but that's all right. Not too difficult. All right, so those 2, and I'm assuming these 2 top ones that are holding the handle are gonna be the only other thing holding the front bezel on this machine. Come on, where are you? It's also at a weird angle. There we go. All right, so the handle, oh wow. Come on, guys. Come on, guys, what are you doing to me? Look what these guys did. Welch, Allyn, come on, man. So, absolutely lovely. They have a series of Torx. Those, are they even Torx? Yeah, they are. So these Torx are small, like pretty small. Let's see, here I've got a T10. T10 it is. All right, boy, that was lucky. All right. Wow, and these are kind of long too. Mind you, I have never opened one of these devices up. So if I'm doing this completely wrong, we're gonna learn together. That's for darn sure. Okay, let's see. Now that should separate the handle, and I can feel it. Feels pretty positive. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the back cover off anyway, even though I'm sure I got the fasteners for the front bezel. Let's see, let's try and keep all these fasteners separate just in case they're different lengths. Man, I'll tell you what, I am loving this overhead camera. Not having to reposition my phone. Do you guys understand, for years I have been using a phone on various types of tripods and stuff to do videos, and it's a burden at best. Let's see. I'm reading my comments, guys. For a second I thought that was they used a BAT22 battery. I built several of those, but not this one. I don't review them. Always buy new. Yeah, you can buy rebuilt batteries. I mean, it depends. Is it worth the hassle? Maybe not. If you're an in-house biomed, maybe it's worth it. I've seen so many of those units record tons of no symptom errors. Wonder what those are. Those frequently are packed with dust. Oh, we're gonna find out, aren't we? We're gonna find out. So underneath your USB cover right here is yet one more fastener. And here's where you gotta be kind of careful, because some of these use different length fasteners. Luckily, Welch Allyn standardized it. Cool, I dig it. There's my back panel. So in order to get the covers off, I needed a T10 and a standard number 2 Phillips. Maybe I didn't need to pull the handle off. We'll find out together. And all right, so as soon as you take that off, you can see that this device is rather complex. Look at this, how odd. Okay, so I have a an Ethernet cable for one. There's a CPU board right on this back panel. So everything is kind of mounted back here. What do we have? A mini USB. I have a USB 2.0 A. What is going on? What is this? Hold on, let me cut a zip tie so I can flip this out and show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. This is wild. If I would have known that there's this much cool stuff inside this guy, I would have took one apart way before now. Come on, give it. There we go. All right, so inside this device, you can see what I thought this was a motherboard. It says Welch Allyn. What is that? Is that an I/O board? It looks like it's an I/O board because I've got a USB port for outside. I've got a RJ45 jack, Ethernet jack. So interesting. There's a couple USBs here, to which this board that's down inside had. Look at all these USB ports down here at the bottom. Check that out. Come on. This is why it's cool to have this set up. There we go. How about that? Now y'all can see. Look at all of these. Holy cow. It's like 10 different USBs down there. So that's clearly the CPU board. And I like there's a little comb in here to keep all the cables nice and pretty. It's funny because everything on this device looks like it operates on the USB standard. So that means that you can swap out parts super easily. Why don't more manufacturers do stuff like this? The Irish clearly have something right. So this guy right here, what is that board? So that's SPO2. So SPO2 operates on USB. Look at that. How cool is that? So I don't know if the software changes at the same time. I would assume so, because USB is just a serial bus, and this guy here probably recognizes itself as an independent device, which means if you don't want Massimo and you want Nellcore, you can pop a Nellcore module in. They have their own little rack, and it just kind of slides in. Look at that. That is genius. They're USB. How cool is that? And plus, they put a clear panel on. I bet you when you boot this guy up, I bet you it has LED indicators that you can see through the clear panel. How easy would that be for troubleshooting? I do admire the isolation that you have in here. So take a look at the gouge that they have cut through it, and they have opto isolators right here. So one side, the patient side, is isolated from the equipment side. Nice isolation built in. How cool is that? Repairable modules. That means I could strip a whole bunch of parts out of these units and use them for rebuilding others. And look at this module. Right there is your NIBP. And every single patient monitor, your NIBP is the most problematic module. And this one here, no nonsense. They got T-fittings. It looks like it's all adhered, like all the tubing. It's kind of stuck on there quite well. But pressure sensors down here. What is this guy? It's got another port there that looks like it's a 3.5 millimeter. Don't know what that's for. Kind of crazy. The pump, standard pump that you see in many devices like the GEs. Just make sure that you get either the 6 volt or the 12 volt. This one here says that it's a 6 volt. You can see it kind of down there on this. So you can change out those pump motors. You can rebuild them, but how cool is that you can just get a module? All right, moving on down. Guys, we have the CPU board, USB-A. Okay, so that one comes over here to the back plane. And I want to disconnect the power. I want to make sure I do it the correct way. So if you notice, there's all these wires. I'm glad I got the good cameras in order to do this. So these are kind of delicate. They're all kind of separate. Like right here's one jack. There's only one wire in that entire jack. You see that? One wire goes to that port. But all these ports are different sizes, so it's not going to be difficult to figure out what goes where. See that? How crazy is that? Oh, some of these are tiny though. They do unplug kind of easily. See how small that is? Jeez. Very serviceable. I mean, Welch Allyn, if Welch Allyn just had better business practices, they make things that are actually designed to be repairable, either for their sake or for ours. But I mean, take a look at this. This is crazy how easy it is. I mean, they're not even standard connections. They're all USB connectors inside this device. And I happen to love that. I mean, look at the power supply. The power supply has a shroud over it. It looks like that's for cooling purposes. Here, let me go ahead and disconnect this guy. Okay. And this little guy right here. Come on, come on. Come on. There we go, there we go. All right, yeah, I'm gonna set the main body over here. Let's take a look at this back plane and the power supply. So it has active cooling on the power supply, which is rare. The fan is spinning pretty good. It's not that dirty. So it brings in air from back here, I think. Yep. So it brings air in from the case, goes down right across the heat sink, and then up and out. So this is an exhaust port right here. You can tell because of the arrows on the fan. So yeah, so it's bringing air in through the device, which that also explains why the ports on these devices just fill up with dust. They always fill up with dust, and that's because it's a negative air chassis. So it has nice seals going around the edge. So that's for fluid ingression. What else do we have? So this is just a USB hub, really, this backplane. And it also has some features built in for external USB along with the network. So that would be your network controller. The power supply is super easy to change out. It looks like the same T10, which, is it T10? Yes, it is. Okay, so T10, this fan back here I imagine gets pretty dirty. This one here's got a little bit of dirt on it. But that power supply is super easy to change out by the looks of it. Looks cool. So I'm just paying attention to all the detail that's on this. We've got crimp connectors on the IEC. The IEC just pops in, pops out. Pretty easy to change it out. Just a little flat blade screwdriver. Hit these tabs, pop it through. Nice and easy. So I'm seeing there's a through hole right here, which grounds it. Yep, there it is. So it's going to ground it to your shielding. That's kind of cool. So your ground goes locally right here to the stud, and then through this pad, it connects to your shielding, which is around the rest of the circuit boards. And that is the backplane. Pretty cool. I dig it. I like it. I just wish Welch Allyn made it easier to repair our stuff, like software to calibrate them and whatnot. Look at all these miniature USB cables. How cool is that? I would love to pull this entire board out of here. And I'm thinking about doing it. I have another board over here, but that is clearly for the let's see, that's for the thermometer, I believe. So let's see, these two panels here go that way. I thought this would just slide right out. I've got a ribbon cable here which held down by a piece of tape. Don't rip. And that ribbon cable is for your power button. Ribbon cable to the power button. Let's do it. Come on. Trying to be nice and gentle on these connectors. There we go, there we go. So if the power button is broken, it's super easy to change that guy out. This panel, I believe, just comes open. Well, tell you what. I have this fastener right here, and I don't believe there's any hidden fasteners underneath the screws or under the feet. So I got one fastener right here. Let's go ahead and take him out. I have no clue what this guy's holding in. It looks like it's holding the bottom shell into the shielding, and yeah, it clearly is. So we can take that guy off. Now this module will pop out. Very cool. All right. Let's see, what cables do I have going on in there? I've got a power cable. And what is that? A battery minder or a battery management cable? Come on, don't break. There we go. And what else? Oh, a speaker. Yeah, of course. That's for your alarms. There we go. So here on the bottom, this is your battery maintainer board. What do we have in there? Is it fused? Yes, there is a fuse on that board right there, F1. And it's actually pretty simple. So if your battery goes nuts, it'll probably pop that fuse right there. Good for them. It's got some good test points, so while a battery is plugged in, you can actually see the volt and maybe the thermistor. I believe it would probably be monitoring the thermistor. And don't forget this little speaker wire right here. That board, again, 2 T10s. And it's got its own platform, a raised platform. So that whole board just comes right off. It's clearly designed to be easily maintained. I dig it. I'm going to keep saying that because I think that this is probably one of the most maintainable patient monitors I've seen. So right here is the module for the temperature. And of course, it has a USB cable. Everything's USB on this guy. Everything's USB mini. So, all right, that guy's definitely just gonna come right out. Let's do it. There it is. It's your power button. So if you have a broken power button or something, there you go. That's it. Underneath that is the temperature sensing module. And I have two T10s down here. Oh man. Okay, so they finally gave me a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, look at that, more window dressing. So there's a couple T10s up in here, but I think I already saved myself some of the hassle because I took the handle apart. Since I took the handle apart, now I can access those fasteners much more easily. Normally those T10s are gonna be buried. And just be mindful that this right here is your alarm indicator lights. So these guys are just gonna weeble wobble and flop around. Let's see if I can keep it tucked in. Yeah, right here's the upper structural support. Easy to get to right now. Come on, one more. Oh, okay. So only the two outer ones are necessary to remove that module. There's a third one in there, but it's doing something else. We'll figure that out in a minute. Okay. The bottom one is holding your support, and that is for attaching to the lower shield, which is also your battery. There we go. All right, let's see. Okay, it's wild. So I'm curious, if we had the software, since these are all USB, technically, couldn't you just plug them into your computer if you had the drivers written for them? Wonder what would happen. So this is your temperature sensing. Pretty simple. Right here's your connector. The part that usually breaks is going to be shmoo getting down in here, which I can see maybe a little bit on this little micro switch right here, which this micro switch, that guy right there, it detects when this is inserted. Come on, come on. There we go. So when it gets inserted, there's a little cam down here. It'll come up and press that switch, and it almost looks like that switch is a little green. Maybe some shmoo already got in there. I don't know if that's the problem with this machine, but it is what it is. Again, take notice that there's a little transformer right here, and you have some isolation. All these guys right here are optical isolators, and the transformer, it's an isolation transformer, so you have a primary and secondary. The primary, you induce voltage over into the secondary. Now you have isolated power to power your little thermistor, which is for your temperature. Well built. Super easy. On the back is your temperature monitoring, your comparator circuit and everything. So yeah, that's got your software for the Massimo. Pretty cool. This connector right here would be really easy to change out if somebody broke it. That micro right there, maybe not so much. But if you had a problem where it wasn't completely detecting when something's inserted, maybe flushing that guy with some alcohol. Which, that reminds me, guys, I just found the coolest thing at HEB, which most of you guys don't know what the heck that is. But here in Texas, it is the greatest grocery store ever. Guys, they are selling 99% isopropyl alcohol at your HEB. And I have to tell you, this stuff is electronics grade alcohol, and it's some fantastic stuff. The reason you use this type of alcohol instead of other things to clean connectors and stuff is because normal alcohol is 70% or 50% alcohol to water. And that means that you're gonna have some residual after it evaporates. So this stuff right here, it's cheap. It's only like $2.80 for 16 ounces. This is electronics grade alcohol. And this is some good stuff. Find it at your local store. How cool is that? Sorry guys, I'm avoiding the comments, and I know I shouldn't. My little chat box is too small. I need to make it bigger. Let's see, garbled user, those are packed to dust. Yes, they are. They use the BAT 99, I believe. think they're simple to open up and repair. They are. They surprisingly are. Everybody hands up. This is a stick up. You. Bjorn. Okay. Here we go. This guy is your module. I have got this guy pretty much stripped down. And we have the main board and the display. The display has got 4 large fasteners and its own tray. That's pretty neat. Right here is what your touchscreen encoder. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just disconnect some of these. All these really stubby USBs. How crazy. So here's the thing about USBs is depending on the software and whatnot, if you plug something into a port and then plug it into a different port, its COM port number would change. And that's the thing with USB, with computers, is when you plug it into a different COM port, device might quit working. So older medical devices, you always try and plug USB back into the exact same port that it came from, because often with the software, even if you can change the port options, it's usually locked down and only the OEM can change stuff like that. So, and that's pretty common in things like older ultrasounds and whatnot, but just be mindful, guys, if you ever disconnect USBs from a medical device, always try to plug it back in the same port. That way, you know, whatever the baud rate for that port or something is set up as, you're not messing with it, okay? Some of you guys are like, what's a baud rate? So you can see right here, I had this little Ethernet cable. It goes, all it is a pass-through. It goes from back here on the CPU board all the way to the other side, and up it goes. This is interesting. I've got a little cover here near the touchscreen encoder. I've got a power phase here. Now I'm curious. I've got a capacitor here. I am not seeing any RAM batteries or RAM bats or anything here. So that would tell me that it is volatile memory. Really? I was not expecting that. That means when you disconnect the battery, or if the battery's not in it, you're going to lose the date and the time. I guess on a patient monitor like this, it might not be completely essential, but you have to remember the Connex also has some variants of this where you can connect them to your network and it transmits straight to the digital medical record. And if you have a messed up date and time, that's clearly going to give you some problems. So let's see, I've got, right here's my video cable. So right here's my touchscreen encoder. I've got my Ethernet jack that's a pass-through, and this is my lights right here. This port right here. So, yeah, I want to pull it all the way out. And let's see, I see my little helper just came in. What's going on? How you doing? What? What? You're crazy. It sounds good, but you're still crazy.
No.
What do you mean no?
We're going.
You're thinking about going, or you're going?
We're going.
You got stuff on your hands.
No,
That's not no. Yeah. Why don't you go wash your hands?
Can you go and take us to get
What?
my telephone?
You're so crazy.
Take us!
Yeah, I will. You got to give me a few minutes though, because I am in the process of tearing something down and saving the world. Okay. As you were. All right, guys, let's see. I might as well just disconnect this power. I will probably never reassemble this guy. It's going to be my parts machine because I love it that way. We already have this emotional bond between me and it. There we go. Let's see. Let's pull this guy. And let's switch over to micro screwdrivers. Okay, cool. Let's see. It's got a reflective, like I guess that's for noise between this guy, your temperature module, and everything else. Maybe even a moisture splash guard. I have no idea. It's interesting. More tape. Love it. More tape. Mr. Ren R. Thank you for your support, man. I do appreciate it, absolutely. Guys, I can tell you, I was so excited. Yesterday I was experimenting with doing live, and somebody did one of those live chats where they donated $10. That is so cool. I've never done that before, never. But what I am doing is I'm using a lot of those funds to go forth, and I do several things for junior biomeds. One of them is I'm creating toolkits that I'm going to be giving away to junior level biomeds. And another thing is I'm going to be sponsoring some junior level biomeds coming up. So that is something that's in the works. Now that I have real sponsorship, guys, it opens some doors for me, thankfully. One of the doors is that I'm going to have a real video editor. So, you know, all those days of, you know, barely scraping by and doing bare minimum for video editing, that's because time. I didn't have the time. Now I'm going to use a lot of my money that I'm earning from sponsorships and whatnot to get a video editor and maybe do a better job. So, all right, let's see. Wow, that did not make me feel confident pulling that little ribbon cable out for the screen encoder. I'm trying to get all the way down to the display. Now you don't have to go through all of this, because all you have to do is pull these main screws here, and this all comes out as a unit. Like the CPU board and the display will come out together. That's not how we do things here on this though. This channel, we're gonna tear it all apart and never get it back together. We're committed. And there's our board. There's our board. All right. Interesting. So, I have status LED indicators down next to every USB port. That's unusual. Didn't really expect that. And on the back is I think your USB controllers, your I/O. Maybe those are also for isolation. Not really sure. I'd have to look them up. But yeah, what a cool little board. So let's see what else we got going on here. I have 2 of these switches here, and I would love to see what these switches do. And anytime you see a shield like that, there's usually a measuring device underneath it. So I'm really curious what is underneath this guy, because I'm pretty sure the CPU is here. What's under the shield? I'm curious. Maybe the processor for, no, that's the video processor right there. The FPGA right there. So, wonder what's under here. Maybe I will sacrifice this board and desolder it and delit it and pull it off. But that's the CPU board. Very cool. Set it over here nice and gently. That board is still good as far as I'm aware. Now comes the display. These ones are so neat. Large stainless steel fasteners, shoulder screws. Well, there we go. Let's see, I can see a part number down there. Let's see if I can get you guys the part number for the display in case you guys have a broken display. By the way, one of the things that we do at Phobie Medical is we do flat rate repairs on these. So if you guys have some of these that are broke, you let me know. I can get you flat rate repairs, because this obviously is a luxury that I'm able to take this time. Not everybody's got that time. I mean, we have the community right now of just doing PMs. They don't really want biomeds to do repairs anymore. Everybody wants them just pounding out PMs. So that's why companies like mine are doing what they can to kind of fill in those gaps. So again, this is why it's so serviceable. I really appreciate this. Welch Allyn, if one of you guys watches this video, I want you to know I appreciate this, man. There is a rubber seal that goes around the display. The display is its own piece. It's not glued in. It doesn't need it. Why does everybody glue stuff in? It's in a nice seal. Look at that. That is beautiful. So not only is that for shock absorption, but also it makes it nice and easy to change out the display. Look at that. Now I have a whole entire front bezel. So if this guy was all cracked and looking like garbage, which it does look like garbage, you know, see some of these rub marks? If you guys didn't know, you can get some of those Mr. Clean Magic Erasers, and this stuff will come right out. Yep. Although this guy really has had a rough life, hasn't it? But look at that. It's got a silicone gasket that is for the front display. And the front display itself. This looks like a generic part number. It's model NL10260 Bravo Charlie 19. It says it's assembled in New York? What? What? It says made in Japan. It's a Japanese display. I would have been so wrong on this on so many levels. If this is assembled in New York, NLT Technologies. Says this is, well, it's got a panel number and whatnot, but my camera's probably not even going to show it correctly, is it? There it is. Interesting. So down here is your, what, backlight controller? Is this LED backlit? It is, because up here is your bar. So it's edge lit, LED backlit. And how do I pull this guy off? It's got tape. Come on. There we go. Oh man, that's really stuck in there pretty good, isn't it? Come on. Oh no, it's wrapped around. Okay, so you have to pull the tape on this side. That is not easy. This panel right here is still good, so I'm not going to chance it. But this on the front, which is adhered to your panel, is your touch encoder. And your touch encoder is, well, it's a serial interface, which is why you only have 4 wires right here. And it creates a matrix of X and Y. And this guy here, is it resistive? No. Normally if it's resistive, you can see the dots separating them. It's got to be a, I don't know. It does kind of feel like a resistive touchscreen, but it might be capacitive. But anyway, you can see that this screen is really dirty, and at the very least, this display has to be cleaned quite well, and really not difficult to change out. I mean, I'm talking and I'm working through this, but I've never even seen somebody open one of these devices before. Now you guys at least know how to open it up and get inside it, right? I mean, it's really not that difficult. And if you had a cracked display, there's no reason why you couldn't buy this display right here and do this yourself. The only thing you have to be careful of is your touch encoder, because it's got a really short support plastic right here, and it's really delicate. So it's entirely possible that you're going to break it. So you have to use tweezers when you plug this guy in, and be very careful. But other than that, there's no reason why you or I or any other biomed couldn't buy this part and change it out yourself. I mean, it's not even glued in. Look at that. How cool is that? I like it. So anyway, guys, that is the inside of a Welch Allyn Connex. I was not expecting that at all. And now I have one other unit over here to power on and see what's going on. I guess we'll do that because the customer said that they wanted 1 unit out of 3 to be working, and the first one I powered up was working just fine. That one over there, it's not pretty, but it was just fine. This one's pretty. But this one could be the most messed up out of all of them, to which I know where I can get a good CPU board. Yeah, this one's pretty. I have a whole bunch of these, man. So, so one of the first things I would like to do, I need to have some of those trays, you know, for when you take stuff apart. And I just clearly don't. I need to gather up all my fasteners, keep them all together. All right, here we go. All right. A couple of those fasteners look like they're non-magnetic, so something else to be wary of. Let's go ahead and put all these cables over here. All these, my modules. I'll tell you what, if these modules in this unit work, these would be so cool just to keep in your parts inventory. I mean, you find a unit that's got a broke screen or something you don't want to get repaired, take it apart and just save all these parts. The CPU board, the display, and these modules right here, I mean, they're so easy to get. And probably one of the main things is your power supply. Not that I've ever had one break. These things really don't break that often. So let's go ahead and let's plug this guy in. Let's see what's going on. And I had a power cord here. Losing my mind, guys. There we go. There we go. And our power cord, we're up. Okay. I now have a red indicator on my power. That's stating that the battery is charging, so thankfully 1 out of 3 has a battery. Yay. Okay, let's see what we got. Display looks fantastic. Maybe a little extra noise on the fan that's over the power supply. It's spinning right along though. Date and time looks good. This guy booted right up. Now I don't know what's going on with it. So if you ever had one of these situations where a monitor, you don't know what's wrong with it, set it up on a patient sim and just let it run. Just let it run. Because maybe that power supply does get warm. I can hear the fan that's cooling it, but it almost sounds like it's a little bit louder than it should be. So I'm gonna let this guy run for hours and let's see if it shuts off. If it shuts off, then we'll know. I do have some patient simulators, some old ones. I don't have all the cables. So I'm gonna have to save this for maybe tomorrow. I'll just set it at my office, let it run all day. And if it doesn't shut off, if it continues to display my patient parameters, I'll put it back in service. This guy looks beautiful. Everything about it looks good. I don't know about the battery. So again, guys, I don't troubleshoot equipment that has low battery. I won't do it. So if I see that the battery is like in critical and it's charging, then I'm gonna go and take a step back, let it charge for a couple hours, and then come in and troubleshoot it. Because you're gonna have so many errors and stuff just randomly for units that have low batteries. So let it charge up a little bit. Do you guys know the advanced settings code? I probably have it someplace. I think I have the Welch Allyn service tool someplace. I've got to check it out. Let's see, profiles. I mean, the touchscreen and everything, so responsive on this guy. It's looking good. I have no idea whatsoever why it was brought to me. So I'm gonna check it out, see what's going on with it, let it charge up, you know, run it through the gamut tomorrow. Are you kidding me? You're the man. You're the man. Let's do it. Let's go in there. 6345. Okay, let's do that. Thank you, sir. See, this is how we should share information, guys. This is how we should do it. Okay. Advance. All right, course, we got English, we got date, time, demo. Here we go. All right. So if this is like many other patient monitors, you put it in demo mode, it's actually running parameters through the modules. So you're technically testing the modules at the same time, which right now seems to be doing pretty good. Hey, you can see it right there. Let me switch cameras. There we go. This camera angle is not very good for watching displays and stuff. I have a lot of overhead lighting. Love lighting, guys. Let's go room cam. There we go. So, tell you what, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave this guy sitting over here, charging, and let's see what it does. You never know, man. I am going to save that code. I did not know that code, and that is gonna help me out in the future. There we go. Bam, got it. Do you guys have any questions? Anything at all? I know I'm just rambling over here because as I think, look, my mouth just doesn't shut up. And that and the fact that I have like, lots of coffee, man. So I just released a video just moments ago on right to repair. Today was a big right to repair day, guys. There's a bill in Colorado that passed the House and the Senate on right to repair, and it's looking good for the future of agriculture. It's an agriculture bill, but every right to repair bill comes down and affects us in some way, because what it does is it shows companies that there is a cultural shift. So that's where we're at. Today was a good day for us. This is looking good. Everything's looking good. You have a screen to break down, Mr. Tony. I wonder how much you buy a screen for. I'm curious. I've got screens. I've got a lot of screens, man. Units that have like marred cases and stuff, I won't sell those. So instead, I would pull the parts from those. And if it's got a beautiful screen, like this guy has a beautiful screen, then this would be a part that I would sell. So, yeah, it's a good unit. But anyway, guys, I'm really surprised. I was expecting like some hardcore error codes or something. How do you fix something that appears to be working? So I need to get my patient sims, hook them up, and see what happens. I don't remember the original complaint, and it doesn't really matter because always start your troubleshooting at ground zero, which means never trust somebody when they say, hey, it's shutting off. Maybe it is shutting off because the battery was clearly low. So, and more so, let's see. Let me see what happens when I pull the battery while it's running. Ooh, come on. Cool. I know, hush up. Well, you would think that, yeah, this is the BAT 99, but you would think that these ones here would have some sort of date code on them, and I'm not really seeing it. It's got like a serial number for the battery, but I don't think there's a date code on there. Nope. What a shame. Because I'm a firm believer in changing out your batteries every 3 years. It saves a lot of hassle. Right. Come on. There we are. Everything about this guy's easy. Nice and easy. All right, guys. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I have been setting up the studio even today, and I believe that one of my new cameras is waiting for me at the house. And since I've got that new camera, I got to figure out another camera angle. I want to have a camera always pointed down, like this guy, but I also want one on my monitor because I have a green screen that I pull down when I'm giving presentations and stuff, and you know, I don't want to move that camera every single time. Just set it and forget it, man. And I can use this guy, my control panel right here, and this guy here helps me switch between cameras. So, yeah, nice and easy. At least that's the concept. Anyway, all right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night and enjoy yourselves. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's just do this. Let's finish out this week strong, all right? Stay in there, guys. It's getting rough for everybody, and everybody's getting burned out equally. So let's just hang in there. Let's